The history of heavy. Hello and welcome to the History of Black Sabbath podcast, the show that traces the chronology of Sabbath's music across albums, song by song. I am one of your two co-hosts, Michael Huntsman. That guy right there is Big Daddy Dave Lieberman calling in from San Francisco, California. Dave, how are you?
I'm feeling Black Sabbathy.
Yes, man. Yes. Well, first of all, welcome back. Dave just got back from a trip to Turkey that I have not yet heard any details about. That is why the show has been absent for the last couple of weeks. But I trust you had a good trip.
I did, and to all of our Turkish listeners out there, merhaba.
Yes.
Yes. So it's amazing. I think I said it to you, but I told somebody my one-line impression is that Istanbul is like Berlin and Cairo had a kid, and that kid is on a gap year.
Well, that sounds amazing. I look very forward to a conversation over some beers on picnic benches at Zeitgeist in San Francisco, but that will not be tonight. Tonight we are talking about Black Sabbath. We are returning to kind of the epicenter of our ongoing conversations about heavy music that really do focus all around Black Sabbath. Part of your trip to Europe, extended Europe, did not include a trip to Birmingham, England, which we had talked about trying to figure out. We did not navigate a trip to Sabbath's final show, the Back to the Beginning show. That is all over the news, particularly the hard rock and metal news. So we are a few weeks late to talk about that show, which in our real time just happened this past weekend. But thought it was a perfect opportunity to, yes, again, dedicate an episode solely to Black Sabbath, but also to take a break between our regular chronology. We will talk about Sir Lord Baltimore last week. The last episode, we talked about Atomic Rooster. So we will get back into our timeline. But because of Sabbath's farewell show, it affords us the opportunity to dig a little deeper than we have dedicated any episodes to about the mighty Sabbath so far. So, how you feeling about it?
I'm feeling good. I think that's the right call, and I'm so glad that you thought of that on the fly because it's a pretty seismic event. The fact that we're doing this is because of our relationship and our love for Sabbath, and Sabbath just comes up every episode. It just does, and unapologetically, right? So this is a historic event. They've been together 57 years. They haven't been together 57 years. They've existed for 57 years in some form or another.
Right.
That's a long ass time.
Yeah.
And the show itself, and we can talk a little bit about that interspersed in our discussion today, but the show itself was a gathering of who's who in metal, and of them, most of the acts themselves have their own 20, 30-year career of followers and arenas, and everybody that showed up was a somebody. So it was pretty amazing and pretty epic, and it's worth pausing to talk about because it's the foundation of our conversation in the first place. So I'm glad that you had this idea. This is a really cool idea.
For sure. Yeah, that show, as everybody probably knows, was live streamed. I literally spent 10 hours on my couch beginning at 7 a.m., watched every single minute of it, happily so, and very much enjoyed it. And yes, a who's who of metal. But the thing that I thought was really cool and a little surprising to me about it wasn't just metal. You know, it was
No, it
Steven
wasn't.
Tyler and Ronnie Wood and Sammy Hagar and Vernon Reid and all these luminaries
Yes,
from across, loud rock paying homage to the greats, and the video tributes that played during the show for people who couldn't be there, including Sir Elton John and
right,
Cyndi Lauper and Billy Idol, was
right,
just really, really cool. And I
right.
talked about, you and I were kind of texting back and forth as it was happening, and I talked about how much FOMO I was feeling leading up to the show and seeing everybody walking the streets of Birmingham and all the kind of stuff, the banners and the Sabbath Museum and all the stuff they had going on in the city. I really would have loved to have seen that. But as soon as the show started, I was really glad that I wasn't there
Yep.
among 40,000 some odd folks all day long at a festival. It was nice to sit on my couch, have some coffee and then some drinks, some breakfast
Yeah.
and then some lunch while watching the thing. I thought it was
Go
I
to the
thought it was
bathroom over there with no line and no
right,
puke on the toilet seat. Yeah.
right.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
what we
and it's funny. One of the observations I had watching the show, because I did it delayed. I was so jet lagged. I was there with you on text, and then I watched it the following day. Um, but they were piping in all these fans had 15 seconds, and I'm like, God, what a bunch of douchebags. I'm like, I am such a douchebag. I am that. I am every one of those people.
Mhm.
Why are they douchebags? Because they're just saying exactly what I would say.
Right.
When I first started listening to Sabbath is so important to me. You guys don't know what you guys are my best friend. You guys were there for. It's like, God damn it, that's me. That's me. It's like when we were at SF State, and I went there. We went there as film majors. You graduated as a film major. I got there and couldn't get any film classes. And before I went, I was like, man, I really want to make artful films that are dramatically lit that really make you think. And everybody I talked to when I first met were like, I want to make artful films that are dramatically lit. And I was like, oh no, I can't do this. Uh, so I had that kind of deja vu.
Well, yeah, look, I don't want to go too broad on this, but that I think what you just said is the power of music, whether it's Black Sabbath or the Beatles or Daft Punk. It's feeling like they are talking directly to you
Right,
and only
right,
you really understand it. That's
right,
that's the power of music.
right,
Yeah.
right.
And I think that will come out in tonight's conversation. So
Yes,
what
sir.
we decided to do here is we're each going to go through our all-time Sabbath top 10 favorite songs, and that is an important distinction. We are each coming up, we each have lists of our personal favorite Black Sabbath songs. These are not the songs that either of us deem as the best Black Sabbath songs or the most influential Black Sabbath songs, the most important Black Sabbath songs, because for me at least that would be a different list. These are my favorite Black Sabbath songs right now today.
Right,
this,
right. This episode, even.
right this in this minute, because
Right.
this list has changed not only in the past days since we decided to do this, but literally in the last few hours, because I got to include that and I can't leave that out. This is my list right now, and I'm sure we'll each have our own caveats as we go through this. I do want to do a Black Sabbath album ranking episode. That's a different show. But we'll touch obviously on the overall albums a little bit as we go through these songs. As either one of us, if one of us says a song, we don't know what's on the other's list. So if one of us says a song that's on the other's list, raise a hand and acknowledge that it's on your list. I ranked mine, so I'll go through mine 10 to 1. Dave, did you do that too, or yours just
No,
10?
mine are ranked chronologically by album.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I'm gonna put mine in my 10th favorite to my most favorite Black Sabbath song. And Dave will do his more chronologically. This will be a fun exercise. Let's, we won't spend too much time on each song because we'll probably have at least a couple of songs overlap, I would guess. But there's a chance that we're talking about 20 different songs here, and we don't want this episode to be 2 hours. So
Right.
we won't spend
Um,
too much time on each song.
I have two caveats before we start. Um, Number one, I agree with you that this is a moment in time, and it's a really more of a theoretical exercise. Um, these are the favorite songs that I ended up with by the time we recorded. Um, I have kind of two tiers of Black Sabbath songs. My favorite song and everything else that's super good that I like a lot. So it's I started trying to rank them in order of favorite, and they're it doesn't exist in that hierarchy for me. They're all tier one or tier two, and tier two is awesome. Tier one is awesome plus.
Okay.
Uh, so that's caveat number one. That's why I put them in chronological order. That made more sense to me. Um, Caveat two is, and I've said this before on the show, so this is not new to any repeat listeners, but I have often said that my favorite Sabbath song is the first two albums. And so that wasn't going to work for this exercise. And so I really appreciated this idea of yours because it really challenged me to go past the first two albums, which I'm super familiar with, and go into the rest of the Ozzy catalog, which I'm also super familiar with, but just don't spend as much time with because I have the relationship I do with the first two albums. So that was great, and it really forced me to get out of my comfort zone, um, and remember why I love this band.
The exercise did something similar to me, and what it did to me was I don't consider either of the first two albums my favorite Sabbath album. But one of them I consider the best Sabbath album. I had considered the best Sabbath album.
Ooh.
Going through this exercise, I changed what I think is the best Sabbath album, and I changed what my favorite Sabbath album is just by going through this exercise. We are not, again, talking about albums tonight. But I do think as a setup, I did want to talk about this a little bit because I think broadly speaking, and when we on this show talk about Black Sabbath, we are talking about the first 8 albums with Ozzy Osbourne. We on a separate podcast, the Huntsman Polanco podcast, we have talked about each of the post Ozzy albums, including the first 2 great albums by Ronnie James Dio, Heaven and Hell and the Mob Rules. And I think broadly speaking, that Sabbath is acknowledged by most people, most hard rock and metal fans, to have 2 great periods. And those 2 great periods, I think, are generally considered to be the first 6 Ozzy records and the first 2 Dio records. I don't think about it this way. I think Black Sabbath had 4 great back-to-back album periods. I think Black Sabbath and Paranoid are one period. Master of Reality in Volume 4 is the second period. Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, and Sabotage, and then Heaven and Hell and the Mob Rules are 4 incredible. Those are the Mount Rushmores on Black Sabbath's domination of greatness. And I sort of categorize them again. And again, we're not talking about the albums, but I wanted to set this up a little bit in the context of talking about the songs, because through that chronology and just the way those albums kind of pair together, with the self-titled album and Paranoid, both coming out in 1970, they effectively invented the genre of heavy metal itself, doom metal and all of the doom metal subgenres, and the aesthetic and lyrical approach of what would become black metal. On Master of Reality and Volume 4, 1971 and 1972, they invented stoner metal, groove metal, and the non-Stooges half of grunge. With Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath in 1973 and Sabotage in 1975, they invented progressive metal, alt metal, and thrash. So they effectively, and this was repeated from the stage in Birmingham over that long Saturday, or Friday, that every band paying homage. We wouldn't be a band if it wasn't for Black Sabbath. We wouldn't sound like this if it wasn't for Black Sabbath. And those bands ranged from Slayer to Rival Sons to Mastodon. I mean, all of these very different sounding bands that owe a debt to Black Sabbath. So I think it's important as we go through this, to we don't have to get into genre or subgenres too deeply, but I think as we go through it, a lot of that, at least for me, you'll see sprinklings of the various seeds that Sabbath was laying, and the diversity of what these 10 songs, at least on my list, is what got me so really, really excited. So
Yeah, that's really such a great foundation for this conversation.
yeah. So let's get into it. I'm very interested at the end, and we'll talk about how many songs each of us picked from each album. Maybe I'll ask this at the top. Actually, was that the number of songs you picked? I know your ever lasting affection for the first two albums. You just talked about it. Were the songs, most of the songs that came from the albums you thought, did they come from the albums you thought that they would come from? Was it consistent with the way you kind of ranked the albums in your head?
No, it was a surprise because it was the revelation of shit, I've been listening to the first two albums too much and I'm not giving enough airtime to these other ones because how do I find, like, I only have room for one song. There's three I need to pick here. Fuck. All right, let me go back to my like I think I had seven from the first two albums, and I'm like, well, shit. This is not a conversation to have. So let me go back and all right. Every time I found another song, I had to pull one off of the first two albums, and I was like, I spent some time with some other albums, and we'll get into that. But because I put it under each album, it's easy for me to reference.
Yeah, I got so pissed when I started to have to take songs off. And then I was so happy yesterday where I'm like, okay, this is my 10. And I just had the list of songs. And then I put the numbers next to them and realized that I had 11. I'm like, oh, fuck. So that was a real Sophie's choice. And I'm sorry, Hand of Doom, but that's where we ended up. So, yeah, some of my favorite songs aren't on this list. This is the 10 I have
Right.
today.
This is just the 10 that fit today. That's that yes, because my list of 10 songs is 20 and my list of favorite but that's why I say my favorite song is the first two albums. I
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
I can't give you a oneer.
Yeah. Well, let's see how you do then. Do
All right.
you want to go first? Or you want me to?
No, I'd like you to go first and do the honors because this is a great idea and you should take the lead.
Okay. Look, I did this. When I came up
You're going
with
to
my
start with
list,
number 10, right?
I'm going to start with number 10.
Okay.
And I just came up with a list of 10 songs I wrote down. Then I listened to every album back to back, and I started plugging things in and taking things out. So some of these were on from the very beginning, and some of these things were last minute adds. This song I suspected was going to be on the list, but didn't know. Well, I wasn't sure it was going to crack the top 10, but at the end of the day, it did, and I'm excited about it. I'm very excited about my number 10. My number 10 is the very last song on Sabotage. My number 10 is The Writ, which
Ooh.
is and I'm not trying to be cute with my list. It's picking out the obscure songs or whatever. The Writ does happen to be kind of a deeper cut that a lot of kind of casual metal fans certainly don't know, or casual Black Sabbath fans might not even know. But it is a banger. And The Writ is the reason that I wanted to talk about all of the genres at the top, because The Writ contains most of those genres in a single song. It has a quiet part. It has this incredible guitar tone. It has the soaring Ozzy vocal. It has an incredible bridge. I mean, one of the
Great
greatest things that
riff.
Black Sabbath does is a bridge.
Yeah.
And maybe the greatest thing Black Sabbath does is the Iommi instrumental coda, which is one of my favorite things. And The Writ just sort of has it all. And not for nothing, it has the lyric, are you metal, are you man, you changed a lot since it began, which is, it gives me chills just saying it, which is clearly a nod to Iron Man and the fact that the band themselves has gone through a ton of change over the course of those 6 records in their lives and in their band membership, and not the membership, but just their relationships with each other. And so I had to include the writ.
Well played. I love that song.
Yeah.
Um, it was one that I considered, but it just got squeezed out by all these headliners. A lot of my songs I think are going to be obvious for you particularly because you know me, but for other listeners and fans of Sabbath. But some maybe not so much. I'm going to start at the top chronologically with The Wizard. First album, second song, right out of the gate. It establishes for me what Sabbath is to me. It's very clear riff. It's got some negative space. It's got some jam. It's got some fucking harmonica. Um, you know, harmonica in metal isn't a thing, but oh yes, it is. Right. Uh, the thematic element of it is it's kind of occult. Um, and they do a thing in this song that they come back to over and over again where it sounds really like heavy and almost angry, but it's a song about joy. Um, and this happens over and over again in their music. And I love that they are able to walk this line of singing about love in the most evil and screamy way possible. Um, so I'm starting it off with The Wizard. Not a big surprise.
And not for nothing, The Wizard is the song we chose to do our Black Sabbath episode on. So great pick. That song was it was on my original list, and it just didn't end up making my cut, unfortunately. But fucking great song, great song. Okay, my number 9 is the last song on Volume 4, 1972's Volume 4. And that would be Under the Sun / Every Day Comes and Goes. And one of the beauties of Black Sabbath is they have a lot of slash songs, right? And in our case, we're doing tracks. So you get you get the 2-for-1 or the 3-for-1 in these
Right.
cases. Uh, this song is sort of a perfect album closer. Under the Sun is the song Gojira played on at the festival. They did a great version. Again, kind of a deep track. And again, I'm not trying to be cute. I'm going to get to some obvious stuff with my other picks. But I fucking love this song. And in particular, I mean, Under the Sun itself is a great song. But Every Day Comes and Goes is almost a pop song. It is
Yeah.
so like there is a lilt to that song that you would hear in Ozzy's solo stuff that is so great, but with the Iommi heavy guitars instead of the noodling of a
Yes.
Randy Rhoads or a Jakey Lee, which it's just a great song. I think Volume 4 is a horribly underrated record. I absolutely adore it,
Hugely
and this is
underrated.
the song that closes it.
Dude, I'm so glad that it made your list. I had a feeling it would, so I allowed it to fall off of mine. It was a very, very, that was my Sophie's choice. It was on there until the very end. Um, the thing I love about that song is the change up.
Yeah.
And they do something in that song that they will do in a couple songs that I'll mention on my list where it starts off strong and then somewhere in the middle they just find a brand new super heavy riff that is its own thing, which is why it's a slash song, right? We're calling it a slash song. It's a combo.
Mm-hmm.
And because they credit it that way on the album, we get to count it as one song.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it is a signature move of theirs. They keep doing this throughout their discography. Is they'll start off with a song that's totally great, and then in the middle of that song, they bring us a brand new song. They could have added another song to their album and padded it out. But the way they flow and the way they combine the musical pieces is really gratifying to listen to because it flows from one to the other, and you get this mid um, experience boost. You're listening. You're in the middle of the song where it would start to end, and you just start all over. So you get
Yeah,
to keep
and
that energy going. I
I,
love it.
I don't
Love
think
that song.
Sabbath gets enough credit for that influence on, all the new wave of British heavy metal bands, from Iron Maiden to Diamond Head to all of those bands did that directly as a result of being influenced by Iron Maiden, by Black Sabbath, and then ultimately Metallica. That's all of
Right.
those different changes and parts. And the thing that's so impressive about it with Sabbath is how many fucking incredible riffs Iommi has.
Where does it get them?
It's like, dude, like this is a
Yeah.
whole other great song. You don't want to save that for a different 5 minutes over here. He's like, no, I want to
Right.
use it for a minute and a half here, and it's
Right.
it's
Right.
fucking great.
Well,
And
it's
yeah,
just a freebie. It's just a
yeah,
freebie.
these two. The other thing, and my first two picks are both the last songs on records. They won't be my last songs. And this band really knows how to not only end a record, but end a side of a vinyl record.
Yes.
Some of their
This is
best
the
songs are
LP
closers.
era.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, this is the vinyl era and the LP era where you flip it over, and when you get to the end of the end, you have really arrived and you've earned it. Love this song. Um, well, my second song is a album closer, and chronologically, it's the first album. And because it's a twofer, it's actually a threefer. Bitterfinger, Sleeping Village, and Warning. This is my, if I have to have a favorite song, this is it. Um, it is I think, maybe the bluesiest expression of the band. It allows Warning, especially, which I learned late in my Sabbath fandom, was a cover of the Ainsley Dunbar Experience, or Ainsley Dunbar Retaliation. I love that band name.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's just a solid, straight ahead blues song, but with that kind of evil twist to the riff. And in it, Iommi goes on a journey of display of virtuosity. We get to learn just how good Tony Iommi is and how talented he is right from the beginning of their career. The end of the first album is just on display. But the interplay between between Tony and Geezer in these solos and in these bridges is phenomenal. Geezer is on his own melodic lift that is bringing so much balance. And we've often talked about how Geezer and Bill, with this rhythm section, that they just underpin everything that's happening. So this song, this song trio that goes from one to the next to the next, is that Sabbath signature moment of taking us on a journey, having transitions, having virtuosity, having rhythm, having swing, having balance, um, and just heavy ass riffs. This
Great
is my
pick.
one favorite song if I have to have one.
Yeah, I know how much you love it. There's a trick that Iommi does in this song that he repeats throughout their catalog, that only in recent years did I really realize what he was doing. But when he is soloing, there are two guitars pan. There's a guitar pan left and a guitar pan right. But he's not just repeating the same phrase. He's playing two different solos at the same time in either ear, which is just awesome. It creates this really cool effect that he's not the first to do it, but he does it really effectively. And I never really, again, until not that long ago, realized that that's what he was doing, and it's really cool.
Yeah, it makes it such a tapestry of sound.
Good word.
And especially in this particular song, because he's doing that as a build up to a moment where he cuts the distortion and goes like unplugged, and he gets into the, you can hear the cleanliness that he's capable of, because the all the solos, and then Bill's drumming in the background is very like, um I don't want to say noisy, but kind of
Jazzy.
scribbly.
Oh,
It's jazz,
mm-hmm.
but it's in this way that's like a jazz drummer would be soloing. And it makes for a big sound, but it gets very jumbly in there, and then all of a sudden it gets really clean.
Right.
And that's that effect of this song. It's more than quiet, loud, quiet. It's a quiet, loud, clean, right? Like there's a
Tapestry's a good
lot
word for
going.
it.
There's
Tapestry's
a
a good
lot
word.
going on. Yeah.
And it leads nicely into my number 8 pick, which is the last song on Paranoid. That would be Fairies Wear Boots. Um, the, you know, an all-time Sabbath classic, a song that seems so obvious to me that maybe like it's a Sabbath song that I probably should be sick of. There are Sabbath songs that I'm sick of. I don't know that I ever need to hear Iron Man again, frankly. But Fairies Wear Boots, man, the dun, 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 the little kind of quiet guitar part that builds at the beginning, and then the ba na na na, and it gets so fucking heavy, and then just the crazy lyrics and just the tone of Ozzy's voice. It is sort of one. It wouldn't be the one probably, but it is quintessential Black Sabbath. Where if somebody says, "What does Black Sabbath sound like?" you could play Fairies Wear Boots, and it's like, okay, it's kind of all there. And it's just one of my favorite songs, and I will never. I've heard it since I was 11 years old or whatever it was, and I will never ever get sick of it.
That is a great song, and I love uh, Brown Sabbath's version of it. They do a great version. Uh,
Oh, I don't know it. You'll have to send it to me.
oh my God, they're so great. It's like Santana and Black
Latino
Sabbath.
Sabbath. I
Yeah.
need another song for my Sabbath comp, so I will write that down.
Oh yeah.
All
Brown
right, what's
Sabbath.
your 8?
We're at Paranoid, and I am not sick of Iron Man. A piece of the bridge of Iron Man has been my cell phone ringer for 20 fucking years. Um, but Iron Man did not make the cut. Uh,
One of the great bridges in their
in
catalog.
all of music,
Yeah,
though,
in all of
like
music. Yes, agreed.
I can't get enough of it.
It's
And
amazing.
sometimes I don't answer the phone because it's ringing when I have my ringer on, and I just rock it. I'm like, I love it. I'll call that back. But my next song is Electric Funeral, which is a celebration of Geezer. Um, and it too is a song that brings us from one song into another song and then back to that first song. They could have easily made different songs out of them, but putting them together brings us on this journey that they do so well. I like that it is dark in its theme. I like that it's heavy in its bass and its music, but it's groovy. It has got a groove, and that is what sets Black Sabbath apart. I had Electric Funeral stuck in my head for like 3 months, 4 months, and it just didn't bother me at all. Every other earworm I've ever had in my life, um, including "Give It to Me, Baby" by Rick James, um,
Great song.
just drove me nuts, and I just kept coming back to Hand of Doom and was like, or
Electric
excuse me,
Funeral.
Electric Funeral. I was like,
Both are great.
right. It's like, yes, yes, this is awesome. So that's my pick.
Electric Funeral is one of their heaviest songs, certainly one of their heaviest early songs. And to your point about the grooves and the flavors of that song, one of only 2 songs that was played twice at the show, covered
Yes,
by Rival Sons and by Pantera. So
yes,
that is the separation. That is how different Electric Funeral can be interpreted, which is a good
yes.
indication of how good a song it is.
That's right.
Right. Okay, my number 7 is I talked a lot about this on my old podcast about how I often think the second track is the best track on any album. That you got to kick it up a notch for song 2. So you find any album, you want to know if a band's any good, just listen to track 2 of the record, and that'll give you an idea if it's any good. My song 7 is track 2 on 1971's Master of Reality, and that would be After Forever.
Ooh, Dude, you are picking all the deep tracks. These are great.
It was for this spot for me, and I don't want to spoil that it's not on my list, and I don't want to spoil if it is on your list. But I will. Well, I'll say it if you come to it. But there were two songs in this slot that were neck and neck, and I just after forever beat it out by a smidge. But I absolutely love this song, and Master of Reality is a record that I didn't come to when I was a little kid. I came to it a little bit later, and it is Master of Reality is a fucking masterpiece. It is an absolute fucking masterpiece, and you can say that about all their albums. We're not talking about albums tonight, but After Forever is just a great song, and it's got none of the great stuff that we were talking about before. It's just it's a straightforward, great kind of metal hard rock song.
Yeah, except I would say that it's got a really good riff to it. It's not
Well,
the
yeah, it's got a fucking great riff.
yeah,
It doesn't get proggy. It doesn't do a lot of
right, right,
changes. It doesn't,
right.
it's just like here it is. It's got a fucking
And but
incredible riff.
and it's more of a riff than it is. It's more of a melody than it is like a three chord power chords thing,
Right. Da, 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 da,
like
da, da,
Iron Man.
da. Yeah. Oh, it's so good. It's
It's
fucking
it's
thrash
a
metal.
great
Yeah.
it's a great song. It's a great song. Um, Staying with Paranoid, I don't I don't do Electric Funeral without Hand of Doom. Those two songs for me, they're back to back on the album. They go together. They complement one another. I think they balance one another. And Hand of Doom, again, very bass heavy, got a nice groove to it, a really good groove, actually. I listened to it again, just isolated for this conversation. I was like, I know, I know it so well that I forget that it has these elements. And so listening to it for this conversation, I'm like, man, they're just on display. And it does the loud, quiet, loud, quiet thing where it comes in and out. And you get this Bill Ward drumming. And it's so cool.
Oh, it's so good. It's
Yeah,
so good. Those two songs, Electric Funeral and Hand of Doom, if they don't exist, there's no Melvins, there's not a sludge metal scene from New Orleans. There's no I Hate God, there's no Crowbar, there's no Down. None of those bands exist. Those two songs invented the genre.
right.
So
Right. And we find that a lot and we say that a lot, but you can, as you just did, you can point to some songs, some albums, or some phrases in songs and find entire bands. And
right.
I love that about Black Sabbath. So Hand of Doom is my next song.
Yeah. Okay. Fuck yeah. Both of those two were on my list of 15 and just didn't quite make the cut. So I'm glad we got to talk about them. I've talked a lot about closers, album closers, on my picks so far. My number 6 song is a side 2 opener. It would open side 2 of 1972's Volume 4, and that would be Snowblind. Like a song that probably in the last 5 years, it's probably my favorite Black Sabbath song. I absolutely love it. Uh, Sleep, one of my favorite bands of the last couple of decades, does an incredible cover of it, and you can hear them all over this song. And in addition to Sweet Leaf, obviously. But there's something very special about Snowblind. I mean, it's a great melody, it's a great guitar hook, but lyrically, just being a very obvious metaphor for cocaine. In fact, he says cocaine at the end of the first verse. He doesn't try to hide it, but the fact that it's so autobiographical to what was going on with the band at the time and how they were falling, you can hear the band kind of falling apart and barely holding it together in the song. And it's so kind of melancholy and sad, but still heavy and melodic. It's kind of everything that's great about Black Sabbath in a way that's different from everything that's great about Black Sabbath in Electric Funeral or Hand of Doom. It's kind of this other side of Black Sabbath that is also equally great, and I absolutely love it. So that would be the last song in my latter 5 of the top 10 tonight. Number 6 is Snowblind.
I'm just scrolling through our chat to see how I phrased it because when you were talking about Snowblind, oh, here we go. On In our conversation while you were watching the show, I said Snowblind is second tier for me, but let's face it, top tier is very crowded and there's really only one other tier. And then later, I listened to it again. I'm like, when I saw the cover during the show, I'm like, I need to rescind what I said about about Snowblind. It's fucking rad.
It's so good. It's so good. Yeah,
It is so
it's
good.
again, Volume 4, kind of an overlooked, underappreciated Sabbath record, and Snowblind is kind of one of the more obvious. That and Supernaut are kind of the obvious songs that should have been big. Maybe Tomorrow's Dreams are the songs that should have been big on Volume 4. They're all great. They just didn't get the same acclaim that some of the better known Sabbath songs got.
Yes. Um, so my next song is actually, chronologically now we're in Masters of Reality. And I'm going to just give myself a little bit of props for keeping only two songs from the first album and only two songs from the second album, which was very difficult personally. There was sweat. Um, and Master of Reality was I think the first album that I came to Black Sabbath. That I was brought to Black Sabbath in as an album. I think technically the first thing I heard was "We Sold Our Souls," which is their greatest hits album. But listening to an album, it was Master of Reality, and the strong ass opener, "Sweet Leaf," is my choice. Uh, Iconic song because of everything. First of all, crazy, clean, clear, heavy power chord riff. So good. It's such a good metal riff. It's also dark. It's a good dark riff. And it's a love song to marijuana. And it's 1971, right? This this says to me more about this feels more Spicoli than Led Zeppelin does to me. Um, I don't know. I love this song and funny because After Forever was my pick, and I actually had to switch it when I went back and listened to the album again because I'm like, fuck, it's just so goddamn good.
It is so good.
And album, album structure. We're in this period in the 70s of album structure, and to just come right out of the gate with all the fireworks and everything of Sweet Leaf, it's so strong. That is my next song.
You can't really have this list without Sweetleaf. I'm glad you picked it. When my wife Chaley asked me what we were talking about tonight, and I said we're doing top 10 Black Sabbath songs, and she said, "Where did you rank Sweetleaf?" was the first thing she said. But strangely, and I think it's a declaration of how great this band is. We both absolutely adore and love this band. We have had zero duplicates in
So far.
our first five selections, which is pretty wild. And given the chronology that you are taking us through your list by, my number 5 pick is not on your list either. It is my fourth or third last song. My fourth last song pick. This would be the last song on 1970s Black Sabbath. This
Oh,
is
that is
NIB.
my yeah. I picked
Oh,
that. That was
sorry. Sorry. Last song on side one. NIB.
aha.
Last song on side one. Sorry. Yeah. This is a super obvious pick. I have some obvious ones coming. This song, again, everything that I said about Fairies Wear Boots applies to NIB. It is.
So now, do you consider this NIB or do you consider this Bit of Finger NIB?
Bit of Finger, Sleeping
Sorry, not
Village.
Bit of Finger. Basically NIB.
Yeah, well, it's you Sleeping Village to Wicked World, Sleeping Village,
Right.
basically
Oh,
NIB.
right,
Yeah,
right.
I get them all, but
Yeah.
but but if it was just NIB, I would still choose it. I mean,
Well, let's give it its full due because it was really hard for me to pick between one of these two last songs, which are half albums. Um, that's the that Sleeping Village, Wicked World. Those are great Sabbath songs.
They are great Sabbath songs, and everything you said before, that idea that they could have just pulled those out and made those other songs and had a deeper catalog or more songs for the next record or whatever, and chose not to and just flirt with them. That makes them so much better and more interesting, because just as you're like so into it, it goes to something else that's great.
Yep.
um and
And then
I
it culminates in NIB.
Yeah, which if it was just the instrumental coda at the end, please take my name is Lucifer, please take my name, that kind of lifting kind of guitar line that Iommi plays through the end of the song is so fucking good. It gives me chills every time I hear it, and I've heard it 25,000 times in my life or whatever it's been. Just absolutely undeniable. Um, so yeah, I don't have much more to say. Great Geezer lyrics about the devil falling in
The
love.
devil falling
He
in love.
claims
Yeah.
that the title of the song is not actually an acronym for Nativity in Black. I refuse to believe that, because Nativity in Black is such a cool title. Um,
You know what though? I believe it only because I don't think they were thinking that deeply about it. Like so much of the like Satan imagery was record company driven, and listening to their autobiographies, they were actually like kind of pious,
well,
like
that's
they
fine, but the lyric in the song is "My name is Lucifer, please take my hand." Like,
yeah, I know, but I think that
whatever, it doesn't
Nativity
matter.
in Black is even a little obscure for Geezer, who is known to quote Gustav Mahler on his fucking, you know, on the title track of the eponymous album. So I don't know. I'll take him at his face value, and we'll call it Bill Ward's beard looked like a pen nib, and it's really nib, not nib.
Right, right. Yeah. This is one of those where I'm the only one who understands the song, because he wrote this song for me, and I feel it every time I listen to it. And I mean, it's one of those songs. It takes me in another place every time I hear it, and you get to hear Geezer play that basically with his wah that is so timeless and amazing, and just God bless Geezer Butler. It's fucking great.
That's right. All right. So we chronologically are entering volume 4 territory, and I'm glad that I'm able to bring this one up and talk about it. I actually have two from this album, but the first one is Cornucopia. This song is so heavy, and it does another heavy riff in the middle of it. Uh, I It's slow. Dun, 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 dun. It sounds like Halloween, like it's so dark. I don't know that I've heard or seen horror movies that have darkness of this depth. I love it. I love it. But then
I
it's got a
love how it
groovy
sounds like
guitar.
it's slowing down, how it does the
Yes.
and it sounds like it's like dying as it's
Yes.
happening.
Yes. It's like this, it's sludgy, right?
Yeah,
It's
sludgy.
walking through mud, and it's coming down, and it's slowing down and like melting. Um, Love that song. I don't know what more to say about it. It's a short song,
Yeah,
um, but I love that song, and that's my number. Where are we now?
that's your
Six.
your number. Yeah, well, yeah, that's the first in
Eight,
your. I guess it's not your top five, but the way Ozzy says "You're gonna go insane"
yeah,
it's signature Ozzy, man. So good.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, we're to my number 4. I'm gonna guess that this is the first song that is on both of our lists, because this is a song that I probably heard, but I didn't get into this song until meeting you. And you playing it so much, honestly, is what made me absolutely fall in love with this song. And this album, I came to very late, for as long as I had loved Sabbath before. This would be the mightiest track from Sabotage in 1975, and that would be Symptom of the Universe.
It's on my list.
Okay, it's on your list. So go ahead. What do you have to say about it?
So in Symptom of the Universe, we meet both ends of the Black Sabbath spectrum.
Yes.
This is a, a what's the right word? It's a juggernaut.
That's a
Um,
good
uh,
word.
it's a juggernaut of a riff. It is kind of thrash metal. It
It
is,
invented thrash. This at Hole in the Sky invented thrash. Yeah.
oh my God,
Yeah.
it's so compellingly good. It makes you want to go to battle. It's like it just is. It gets
Chuggy.
you
Yeah.
chuggy off the bench and into the game, and it builds up and builds up into this fucking Grateful Dead concert where it just changes totally into a different band, but it does it with Black Sabbath's sauce. Um, it's super groovy. It gets acoustic, but it's super groovy, and they fucking kill it. And just the fade out, it's such a orgasm, an audio orgasm. There's this passion, this buildup, this excitement, and then this ejaculation, and you come down. There's no other way to put it. It's just that's the cycle that it mimics.
Yes. And I love that for as heavy as the song starts, it's the quiet, picked acoustic guitar that takes you out of the
Yes,
song.
yes,
It's such a, can you land on this feather blanket kind of thing at the end?
yes,
I,
yes,
I, I might have said this on our Wizard episode, but to me, this song kind of epitomizes, as you described, kind of Sabbath's greatness, and illustrated by the fact that Sepultura does a great cover of this song, a really good cover. But when they get to that outro part, they play it, but Max doesn't sing it. So the woman, child of love, creation, that part,
yeah,
he doesn't sing it. So they just play it instrumentally to end. The fact that Ozzy's voice is so sturdy and
yep,
dexterous that it can do something like Changes and then something like Hole in
yeah,
the Sky, and in this case in the same song,
right.
is so great. It's like his voice sounds so great.
It's the
Um,
perfect complement to the music that's happening.
yes,
And once again, we have his kind of searing vocals singing about love.
yeah,
Again, he's
yeah.
doing this thing where it's the symptom of the universe is a love song, but the first part is so aggressive guitar and music and angst, but he's singing about love, and then it soars into this second phase that you can just hear the passion of the love that he's singing about.
The last line in the song is, "We'll find happiness together in the summer
In
skies
the
of
summer
love."
skies of love.
It's like
Mm,
that's fucking Black Sabbath. It's fucking great.
right,
It's fucking
right.
great. They were fucking hippie fire children.
Although uh, something about seven nightmare unicorns are riding in the sky. We'll find happiness together in the summer skies of love. I might be putting them in the wrong parts of the song, but like one of the lyrics is seven nightmare unicorns. So like he's all over the place. He's everywhere you want to be.
Seventh Advent unicorn.
Ah, that's what it is. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm glad we finally got to one. I figured that would be on your list. I think my number 3 might be on your list too. But what's your 4?
So after Cornucopia, I've got Saint Vitus's Dance.
Oh,
And this is another one that's a short one,
yeah.
but super heavy riff. Super heavy riff.
Mm-hmm.
I never skip this song. I have it in a couple of playlists. Um, it's over right as I'm getting into it, but like it's just got such a gripping riff. And I love that both Cornucopia and St. Vitus Dance are on volume 4. That just brings me back to this album over and over again.
Yeah, I'm glad you picked those 2 songs. Those are very deep cuts, even for Volume 4. St. Vitus, probably most famously living on for giving the great SST doom metal band St. Vitus their name.
Yep, that's right.
Just another one of many Black Sabbath influences. So I'm glad you pulled that one out. Okay, we're to my top 3. And my number 3, 2 of my top 3 are track 1, side 1 songs. And my number 3 is track 1, side 1 of 1973's Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. And that would be the titular Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. I don't know how much needs to be said about this song. This is kind of the song. My favorite story about this song is that when they were getting ready to go into pre-production for the album, Tony Iommi had horrible writer's block and they were stuck. They were spending all this money on studio time and just nothing was coming. And at some point it came to him and he said, how about this? And it was fucking Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. And, Geezer is talking about how, like, yeah, dude, I think that's something. And it's just, dun, 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 like it's like just a classic Iommi riff. And when it gets to the heavy, the dun 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 dun, oh, it's so groovy.
That's the Jugga Jugga. They brought the Jugga Jugga to metal, right?
Jugga.
That's the Jugga Jugga. And it was hard for me to pick a different song from that album. Um, is there anything more that you want to say about it?
No, that's no more needs to be said about Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. You're going to hear some more Jugga Jugga to come from me, and not a lot that needs to be said about my top 2 either, but they've got to be on the list, man. All-time classics and all-time favorites.
Well, I will say that my favorite Sabbath Bloody Sabbath cover is by the Cardigans.
That's so good. It's so good.
It's so good, and they do an incredible cover of Iron Man too. And
Yeah.
it's just they're great,
Yeah.
very different arrangements.
Oh,
Um, and I love hearing her twinkly little cute voice singing Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. There's something magic about that. Anyway,
it's one of the best all-time Sabbath covers for sure.
so we've converged at the album Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, but my song choice from this album is A National Acrobat. Um, just a really interesting song to me about it's interesting how they found this melody and put it together. And I love what they do with this song. And it seems like such a great compliment to the other songs that are on the album, and one that really sticks out to me. And I love it every time I hear it.
I'm glad you picked it. Metallica does a cool cover of it. It's yeah, I talked about Master of Reality being a masterpiece, and it is. There is not a single bad note on the album Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. It is a perfect record front to back. It is, and going through I always known that it's one of my favorite records, whatever. Going through this exercise to pick a song from that record, it's like, well, now I've got 9 songs from Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. What do I do now?
Right, right, right.
It's so good. Or I think there's 8 songs on the record, but yeah, it's incredible. So I'm glad you gave some love to that song because it's a jam.
It's funny because Sabbath Bloody Sabbath is one of those albums that I put on to listen to as an album.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just don't want to be interrupted right now. I'm going to listen to this album. Thank you. Goodbye.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel that way about Volume 4 too. Those two records in
Yeah.
particular, I feel that way about. Okay, we're at my number two. Again, I told you there was going to be some obvious ones. I told you there was going to be some more chugga, and I told you there were going to be some more last songs on side one. This would be from 1971. That would be Master of Reality, and the song would, of course, be Children of the Grave. Um,
A good one.
Man, to me, the song's undeniable. It's, again, not a lot fancy, just heavy as fuck and charging like a goddamn rhino. If Symptom of the Universe is a juggernaut, I think that was our juggernaut. Then Children of the Grave is a pack of rhinos. Um, I absolutely adore this song, whether it's White Zombie doing it or Lamb of God doing it, but most importantly, Black Sabbath doing it. It's great lyrics. It's a blood boiler. I had this song on my list at the very beginning, and it was really low. And the more times low meaning kind of further down the list, and the more I kind of listened through the songs, I had this playlist. I kept moving up and moving up and moving up, and got all the way to number two. If we did this next week, it might be number one. But number two for me tonight is Children of the Grave.
Nice. Well, we can blow by my penultimate because that was Symptom of the Universe.
Yep.
And everything that we needed to say has been said. But I will say about Children of the Grave that was hard for me to not put on the list. Um, I love that song, and I have one of the things I like about that song is the live version from the California Jam or whatever.
California Jam, yeah.
They have this great live performance that apparently was this clusterfuck of a show,
Mm.
but you can't tell from their performance, and they do an incredible rendition of this song live, and you just feel the heavy and you feel the energy, and it's Ozzy in his prime. It's all of them in their prime, really, in their prime and in their platform boots.
It's so urgent. There's such like an urgency to Children of the
Yeah,
Grave that
yeah.
I just love it. I just love it.
All right, we're at number one. What do you got?
Now it's super obvious, but I from the moment we decided to do this exercise, I knew it would be my number one. It's been my favorite Black Sabbath song since the first Black Sabbath record I ever bought, which was "We Sold Our Soul for Rock and Roll." Before I got the first two records, it's War Pigs. It's War Pigs. It's not that hard. Like I don't need to think about it that much. War Pigs is not only a perfect Black Sabbath song, it's a perfect song. It's the greatest sing along song ever written. It's got maybe the best Iommi coda. I've talked about those a few times tonight. Maybe the best Iommi coda in their entire catalog. Some of Geezer Butler's greatest all-time lyrics. It's got the great build. It's got the really cool hi-hat work by Bill Ward. I mean, it's fucking War Pigs. It's just an absolutely undeniable song, and I almost think about it the way I think about the Beatles and all other music. I sort of think about War Pigs and then all of the rest of Black Sabbath's catalog, because War Pigs somehow stands apart from me way more than even Iron Man or Paranoid do, which is interesting that neither of those songs ended up on our list. But yeah, it's War Pigs. Anything else to add about War Pigs?
It's such a great song. I love how it captures the. It's one of the best examples of their quiet, loud, quiet.
Yeah.
Uh, they're playing with that format, and it it you can hear, how do I put this? You can hear a video of this that is done in the animation style of Heavy Metal, the movie,
Oh
right?
yeah, that's
Like
interesting. Instead
when
of
I
the Bob
listen to
rolls.
War
Yeah.
Pigs,
Yeah.
I hear it as the heavy metal animated like
That's interesting.
war happening.
Yeah.
Um, it's dark, it's heavy, it's musically tight and solid. And one of the things that you can tell a band is tight is when they and you have a quiet part that's silent, right? And so both guitar and bass stop exactly at the same time, and so you hear that hi-hat,
Yeah. Hmm.
and then they come right back in together, right on time. Um, it is a perfect song.
It really is. Yeah, I mean, we do episodes about single songs all the time. I was about to say we could do a whole episode dedicated to Work Pigs. We could do a whole episode dedicated to any of these songs. But yeah, to me, it's the quintessential Black Sabbath song. Okay, let's go to your number 10. I'm excited to hear what you got.
So, um, disclaimer: nothing in our conversation has been represented. Nothing in our conversation has represented anything from Technical Ecstasy. Um,
You gonna do
it's
it?
just no, it's not a very good album. I'm going to skip right over it.
Oh, I know what you're.
Uh,
Okay, you're going there. Okay.
I'm going there. I'm skipping right over it, and I'm going to the final album, Never Say Dies, Johnny Blade. Um, Johnny Blade has an annoying keyboard in it that is completely redeemed by the second riff, and it's the song is already a strong song when it starts off. I love this song, and every time I hear it, I love it more. And I've literally like stopped people and been like, "Hey, do you know this song? Oh, you're listening to this one. Do you know this song? What are you talking about?" Because there's a bunch of obvious songs that are obviously awesome that don't need my help. But Johnny Blade needs a little bit of representation and advocacy. Um, and that second riff is one of the heaviest riffs that they do. I will fight for that. It's one of the heaviest riffs that they do, alongside of the second riff in Under the Sun.
Mm,
That's one of the heaviest riffs that they do.
yeah. Yeah.
Uh, it's up there with Symptom of the Universe. It's up there with Cornucopia. It's up there with um, uh, Sweet Leaf. Um, heavy, evil, slow. It's great, and the song uh, theme is about this street kid living by his wits and a switchblade, and it is desperate and hopeless, and the sound captures that. It seems like
Yeah.
there's a couple other really good songs on Never Say Die, um, and there's some that are not that compelling. At this point in the band's career, they were and in your pantheon of eras, this two album era does not make Mount Rushmore.
Right.
Um, so it's noteworthy because this is the band really hitting rock bottom and right before they're going to disband and find a new way, and so we've had this journey with them. They've had a relationship with each other. Music has grown and evolved with them, and this is where it starts to break down. This song, and there's a couple other songs on this album that feel like it really captures the moment of like everything that's happening. Also, the times are changing, right? They enter the chat in 1970 and they exit in essentially 1980, and this, they're not quite at 1980, but we're getting into the 80s, and those are different eras, and the world has changed, and we've gone from Woodstock to you know um, disco. Uh, we've gone from the Vietnam War to like cocaine and superficial partying, and like what's happened? Who are we? So it's a lot of the album sounds like that to me, and this song Johnny Blade is one that kind of I think captures pieces of everything in there.
I'm really glad you added. I was wondering if you were going to go there. I'm really glad you did. It is underappreciated. It's not a great record. The title track rules. Johnny Blade is great. Metallica did a great version of it. I'm blown away that they
Yeah,
played it. It was really
yeah.
cool.
I
Um,
was I was so glad to see that, and in Junior's eyes, that Guns N' Roses did.
yeah, and it's all right. Guns N' Roses opened with "It's All
Right,
Right," which is
right.
insane.
That's a talk about a deep cut. Like
Yeah, Bill
that's
Ward. Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Um, okay, man. I think we did it. Uh, let me ask you.
Hard.
So wait, let me ask you just a couple of things. So first, I said it a few minutes ago when we were talking about War Pigs, but no Iron Man, no Paranoid. Any regrets?
No, they're still great songs. Although Paranoid, like I never connected with ever.
Yeah.
It's
It's fine. Whatever.
yeah, and it was literally something they needed to fill an
Mm-hmm.
album, and they did. And hey, look, it got them on the charts, and
Became
it
their
was
biggest song ever.
right. Like, okay, this happens, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't Smoke on the Water a similar story?
Yeah.
Um, okay, that's fine. I don't have a personal relationship with that song,
Yeah. Same.
but Iron Man, I have a deep relationship with. I love that song, and it was painful to cut it from my list, but it needed to be sacrificed for the glory of Electric Funeral and Hand of Doom. Um, and it can still be, maybe it's my alternate juror number one.
Right.
Um, it's my ringer on my phone.
Yeah.
It is a favorite song of mine, but when I have to choose 10, it changes. It just changes the way the ranking is because I need to put Johnny Blade in there. I need to put Cornucopia and St. Vitus's
And
Dance in
those
there.
are more fun to talk about because they haven't been talked to death about the same way. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, we both had to kill a bunch of our children to get to our tens. The one obvious one to me that was the really hard one is the song Black Sabbath, which is
right,
arguably their most important song ever.
right.
You talk about birthing genres. That is the song, and that song I'll never ever get sick of. But again, we only had so many slots.
And that's the song that I will always have the special connection with my daughter, who, when she was, I don't know, 7 or 8, Daddy, can we listen to that song with the rain? Black Sabbath?
Yes, please.
But Black Sabbath, Black Sabbath? Yeah, I
By
think
Black
that's
Sabbath.
the one. We're almost home, honey. So we're just going to keep driving until the song's over. Because, yes, we can listen to that song.
Absolutely, that's so awesome. Okay, I'm blown away that we picked 19 songs that each of us were tasked with selecting 10 songs, and we only had one duplicate, that being "Symptom of the Universe,"
This
which
is a
is
statement about Black Sabbath.
this is a statement about Black Sabbath. That's right. That's right. Let me ask you that: Did you have a running list of the ones were cut? Like if you had an 11th song, do you know what that song would be?
No, I didn't do. Had you mentioned that, I would have kept my alternate jurors, but I just
Yeah.
cleared the palette so that they weren't clouding my mind because I knew that this was going to be a difficult exercise. I love that it was. It proves what a great band they were, and it just is obvious already my affection for them. But if I had to keep looking at the dead children, it wouldn't I wouldn't get anywhere. So I had to make clean breaks.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you too. I'm looking at my list, and I didn't leave any of the alternates, and there were a lot of alternates. A lot of the songs you picked, so I'm glad we got to talk about them. I will not that anybody needs these songs compiled because everybody has easy access to them and can make their own playlist. But I will make a 19 song History of Heavy, the Best of Black Sabbath playlist
Oh,
that
right.
includes all of these songs, so people can check that out. I feel like we could talk about this forever, but we're already an hour plus into the show. So, Dave, anything else about Black Sabbath until we talk about Black Sabbath when we do our Sir Lord Baltimore podcast next week?
No, the only other thing I would say, I just said no, and now I have something to say. Yes, the only other thing I would say is something that I can't remember who said it at the show, but they said this is not the end. This is a celebration. This is a thank you. Um, and so that's how it feels. Like this is not.
I think it was Scott Ian of Anthrax that said that.
I think so
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
It was really well said. I
yeah.
thought it was very eloquent for such a simple statement, and he was pretty deep in the lineup, so nobody else had touched on that. But that was it. This isn't the end. This is just a thank you. This is a way for us to pay tribute, for them to pay tribute. And so, like, this list is just a way for us to kind of pay tribute, and as we continue our relationship with this band and we continue to bring them up every episode of this podcast.
Yeah, they'll be with us forever. 100%. Well,
and you're welcome.
Thank you, Dave, and thank you, Black Sabbath. That was a hell of a lot of fun. We will be back to normal programming next week. Thank you, sir, and as always, keep it heavy.
Yeah, great idea. Thanks for coming up with this. This is a challenging but fun episode.
It was
okay,
fun.
Thank you. Bye.